Learning English, Intermediate Grammar, Passive Voice. Hello and welcome back to our series on learning English. In this video, we will dive into the fascinating world of the passive voice. The passive voice is an essential aspect of English grammar, and understanding how to use it correctly can greatly enhance your language skills. So, let's get started. The passive voice is a grammatical construction that emphasizes the receiver of an action rather than the doer. In a passive sentence, the subject of the sentence undergoes the action rather than performing it. This allows us to focus on what happened to the subject, rather than who performed the action. Here are some key points to remember when using the passive voice. 1. The passive voice is formed by using a form of the verb, to be, followed by the past participle of the main verb. 2. The subject of the passive sentence is the receiver of the action, and it usually comes after the verb. 3. The doer of the action can be included in the sentence using the preposition by, but it is not always necessary. Let's look at some examples to better understand the passive voice. Active voice. John wrote the report. Passive voice. The report was written by John. In the passive sentence, the focus is on the report being written, rather than on John as the doer of the action. The passive voice is used for various reasons in English. Here are a few common situations where the passive voice is preferred. 1. When the doer of the action is unknown or unimportant. If you don't know who performed the action or if the focus is on the action itself rather than the doer, the passive voice is useful. For example, 2. My car was stolen. We don't know who stole it. 3. The cake was baked perfectly. The focus is on the quality of the baking, not the person who baked it. 4. To shift focus or emphasize the receiver of the action. Sometimes, we want to highlight the object or recipient of an action. The passive voice allows us to do this. For example, 5. The new bridge was inaugurated yesterday. The focus is on the bridge, not the person who inaugurated it. 6. To sound more formal or objective. The passive voice is often used in formal writing or when discussing scientific or academic topics to create a more impersonal tone. For example, 7. The results of the experiment were analyzed. Formal tone. It's important to understand the difference between active and passive voice. In active voice, the subject performs the action, while in passive voice, the subject receives the action. Let's compare them. Active voice. She wrote the letter. Passive voice. The letter was written by her. As you can see, the focus shifts from the doer of the action, she, in the active voice to the receiver of the action, the letter, in the passive voice. Congratulations! You've now learned the basics of the passive voice in English. Remember to practice using the passive voice in different contexts to become more comfortable with it. With time and practice, you'll become a pro at using this essential grammar structure. Keep up the good work, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy learning!